This is a custom rug I made of Calvin Klein and Burger King. Today we're gonna do something similar, but using two different brands. First, I load in some MDF into my CNC machine. Then using a 1/2-inch bit, we cut out the silhouette of the logo, which is this.
Come on.
Once most of the material has been cut out, I switch out the bits for one that can get more detail. This is gonna sharpen up all the corners, so all those rounded edges are now gonna get cleaned up. Here's a great example, the points of the arrow. Once that's done, it's time for my favorite part, dyeing the resin. Now, all the materials I'm using in this video are from Total Boat. So we pour 2 parts of part A to 1 part of part B. And then we're gonna mix that up. Now here's something cool with resin. During the mixing process, it goes from clear to foggy, and then a cool indicator to know that it's fully mixed is it'll go back to clear. Here's a great example. It's foggy, and now it's clear. Now it's time to dye the logo. So we're gonna grab some resin tint. In this case, it's green. Now resin tints are super concentrated, so you only need a little bit, and we're gonna mix that in. But it's too dark and it is a little bit transparent. So I'm gonna grab some white dye from the Total Tint Kit, and that's not only gonna give it body to make it more opaque, but it's gonna lighten up the green to the shade that we need. And now it's time to pour it into the first cut that we did. Now normally I suggest pouring a little bit extra so it spills outside the logo. That's because when resin cures, it actually shrinks a little bit. And I've noticed MDF does absorb a tiny bit as well, but I mixed just enough to go right to the top. Now we're gonna leave this overnight to fully cure. The next day I came back, used the same detailed bit, and I cut out the silhouette of the letters. Basically this. This is one of the reasons why I got this CNC machine, so I can make fun, very accurate signs like this. Once that was done, I switched back to the larger bit and I cut out the inside of each letter, like this. And then lastly, I switched back to the detail bit and cut out the entire sign to free it from the board. Now it's back to the resin. So we're gonna dye a batch of white resin, mix that up, and then pour it into the first 3 letters of our sign. Again, with this step, you don't have to be super clean with it, and you can over pour because we will be correcting that after. Once that's done, we're gonna make up a batch of yellow resin. And then pour it into the remaining letters. I suggest pouring a little bit more so it spills over the letters just to make up for the shrinking that happens when it cures. And we're gonna leave this for another day to fully cure. The next day I came back, brought the sign outside with some black spray paint and a drop cloth. For this, I'm gonna spray paint the entire back of the sign black. You could do any color, or you could just leave it bare, but I feel like it adds a nice completion to the sign. So I spray paint the entire back, I get the sides, I then flip the sign over and get any parts that I might have missed. Again, I'm not too worried about this top layer, which is why if paint gets on there like it is here, it's not really a problem. And that's mainly because the next step, we're gonna use 80 grit sandpaper and sand off the entire top layer. This is gonna flatten the entire top of the sign and make it all even, while at the same time, sanding away any overpours or paint. Now you could leave it like this, but I'm gonna use some UV Cure resin. Normally I would suggest just doing a messy pour with normal resin because this stuff is more expensive for a little amount. But I don't wanna wait another day and I had some extra laying around. So I'm gonna paint on a thin top coat of UV Cure resin. It is super satisfying. As you can see, it makes the colors pop and also adds a nice glossy finish. Once the UV Cure resin is evenly painted on, I then bring it outside to sit in the sun for about 10 minutes. And that is how this resin cures. I repeated this process about 2 more times as well. And just like that, I've created the Subway logo, but with a supreme twist. This was a lot of fun to make and one of the first things I made on my new CNC machine. There's gonna be a lot more videos like this coming as well. Be sure to like and follow for more fun videos. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one.